Hello everybody. I wanted to make this video regarding an incident that happened on PlayStation there, and also suggestions that Sony could do to maybe fix this situation, because I'm sure probably some other people, some of you guys out there may have had something like this happen, what I'm about to talk about. Anyway, we had an incident in what was our group called the 2022 squad, which I left, got everybody just to leave. Also, now we have a new group called the Goodbye Squad. Anyway, so that's that point. We had this guy that was a friend of my buddy Xavier Broomblade. That for those of you that may have watched my Rocket League videos, he's been featured in plenty of them. And there was this guy that he sent, and we did play like a few games with this. Like it was like his username was Dixie wrecked. This Dixie guy, he wound up just randomly started talking crap to my buddy Gage in the group. And I remember, like, I woke up to it. This is on April 10th, and I remember, like, waking up just, like, seeing, like, all these messages on my phone, because I do have, you know, the PlayStation app as well. And just seeing, like all of a sudden, like, there's people, like, arguing back and forth, Gage and this Dixie guy, and, like, and I remember, like, scrolling, like, seeing, like what's going on here. And what started it was, okay, so I remember I shared something in the group where actually I was like, I remember I was like trash talking. It was something I was like trash talking to some other team, like in a game that I was playing on Rocket League, and then Gage responded to it, and then he said something about, like, I got something better or something, and then Dixie just out of nowhere, I forgot everything that was said. I mean, I wish I would have, like, screenshot it or something, because I would have definitely, like, shared that, probably even also on my Facebook as well. But anyway, like, I do remember, like, parts of it where, like, the Dixie guy just all of a sudden says, like, I'll F you up or something, and it's just, like, there was, like, such dumb, petty stuff. And, you know, Gage was defending himself. I mean, yeah, he was talking crap back, but, I mean, a person like Gage, you know, that's naturally a little bit of a crap talker, you don't mess with those kinds of people. You know, you gotta get what you deserve. But this stuff got even worse and more out of hand after I was trying to intervene. Just kind of, I was just trying to stay neutral about it, or at least sound neutral, so that way the Dixie guy wasn't going to get on me. Although deep down, like, I had Gage's side the whole way, you know, no doubt about it. And I was trying to make sure I showed it, like, the second message that I sent, and well, unfortunately, it just kept getting worse. And I remember and then things got to a point then where Gage left the group. And I remember when I saw that was just like a really sickening feeling to my stomach, knowing that all of this happened, and then our owner of that group, and Slagle, obviously, no offense to you, like, you couldn't have done anything about this, but it was just a situation where we had, like, a party owner or group owner that wasn't really around, like, on very often to really be able to, like, monitor anything. And because of that, you know, that's why nobody would have been able to kick the guy out. I did make an attempt to see, like, maybe if, like, enough people reported him, because, like, this Dixie guy did stuff legitimately wrong. Maybe there was I thought maybe on a long shot possibility, you know, maybe they could have just, or PlayStation Safety could have just removed the guy from the group for us. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now, they did delete messages from the group that Dixie sent, me, JD, and Rachel. So 3 of us in the group reported this guy for harassment. But also, the Dixie guy reported Gage for harassment as well. PlayStation Safety gave Gage a freaking report, or gave him an account warning whenever the Dixie guy reported Gage. So we had a guy that not only was just crap talking to somebody that he didn't even freaking know, which apparently, I guess the guy was drunk at the time, because supposedly, like, this guy has, like, some sort of, like, drinking problem or whatever. Well, I'll just say is it's a side bit of advice. I mean, if you cannot handle your own drinking, then, you know, you have no business getting on freaking, like, PlayStation Network and talking to people if you're suddenly going to take something offensive that, like, you didn't, that had nothing to do with you at all. But yeah, like, I mean, it was like as petty as you could freaking get. Like, you start this drama for no reason, and then you report the guy that's defending himself and, you know, and a little bit crap talking in retaliation. I mean, that's one of those things where, you know, sure, maybe Gage could have watched him out a little bit, but, you know, like, whatever, you know? Like, there should have been a little bit of a leeway given, I think, you know, for Gage there. He shouldn't have gotten reported. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. Really, though, now this is the part where I want to get into the suggestions that Sony could make to really improve our community on PlayStation Network and provide a safer place for everybody. Now, if we had a system where there was, at the bare minimum, I mean bare minimum, a co-owner of a group chat. Say that, you know, Slagle's able to appoint somebody like me or JD or anyone that would have been on often enough to be able to monitor the group to make sure that it's a safe environment for everybody. No one's harassing each other. Nobody's causing any drama. You know, none of this could have happened to the point where that guy had stuck around. And although, see, I remember it's like Slagle did leave the group. Like, I sent like kind of like a sound off message to everybody, change the group name just to null, because, you know, it was pretty much good as dead at that point. Thankfully, actually, ownership did change to JD, but it shouldn't have had to mean that Slagle leaves to take a chance on who is going to even be the next owner. Thankfully, it was JD. They will kick him out, but the damage was already done. So we should not have been in that situation to begin with if we had a co-owner. So say if me or JD, who in our group is Dark Messiah, he's been in majority of my Call of Duty Vanguard videos, by the way. Say if he or myself were co-owners, or, you know, even if you want to go full blown, do a moderator system like Facebook Messenger or Discord has, then we would have been able to address that issue a lot better, to where then in that case the guy just could have been kicked out and everybody would have just moved on. However, because of the way that the current system is, it's a setup for failure. So, because of that, that's why I'm making a huge suggestion to really get like a moderator type of system or co-owner, be able to allow privileges like that. So then that way, it's not up to just one single person in a group chat to be able to remove somebody. If you, especially, knowing that the maximum group amount on PlayStation Network is at 99 people, like, one person trying to control, like, especially, like, if a group escalates to being that big, and all of a sudden, let's say that, there's, like, what if something happens where, like, you get, like, 4 or 5 people arguing with each other at once? And say that, that the party, that the group owner is somebody that's not on very often. Then what? Then nobody gets kicked. And then there's the possibility of this happening where you have other people that might get uncomfortable and leave the groups. And then you have to start a new one and start fresh. And you shouldn't have to do that every time. Now, of course, our current group now, the Good Vibe Squad, is, now I was the one that created that group. So, I'm on, like, extremely often, and, especially having, like, PlayStation app, everything, too. So, I mean, as of now, unless Sony does make any sort of changes to addressing this issue, I mean, like, what if, like, down the road, like, now at the time, like, say that, like, the group grows bigger and everything, and all it takes is, even, like, one person that just starts crap and just ruins the fun for everybody, like, I mean, thankfully, of course, because of, like, how often and everything I'm on, and, even I don't have to be on my console at home all the time to be freaking, monitor stuff or whatever. I mean, hell, like, I could, thanks to, them having a PlayStation app, I mean, I could be, like, out on vacation, something happens, and boom, I could just, kick someone, and, or what I like to say is give them the boot. But even so, I mean, even though at the time of this recording, I'm at 18 people on that group, I mean, if, like what if, like let's say there's a scenario, like, of course, God, please, keep me in good health and everything, but when I'm saying this, but, what if something happens to me? What if, like, something happens to me where, I wind up, like, in the hospital, like, if I somehow got, like, extremely sick or something, or say I got into, like, a car accident or whatever, like, what if, like, something even happens to me, then all of a sudden, like, I'm not on, and then you have no co-owner or moderator or anything to be able to monitor anything. So then, say if I'm out for, like, an extended period of time for whatever reason, and then one person wants to start trouble, and I'm not able to kick anybody because at that point I would have been, like, physically unable to, that right there is such a huge flaw. That is such a huge, huge flaw in the system right there. Because you never know, because life's so short, anything can happen to anybody. That's an example I really wanted to make, and hopefully, like, I hope somebody from Sony or PlayStation could be able to see this. So I hope that that provides a perspective, you know, to be able to show how important it is to change this group system and provide any sort of moderator system. And I'm sure, I'm sure there's probably people out there that might have dealt with an incident similar to this one, and you have a group owner that wasn't around, not on very often or whatever, and just that person just stuck around, even with them getting reported, even with them having some messages deleted. And hell, maybe even, the person that started the harassment probably reported somebody to defend himself back, probably, and then, that person to defend themselves left the group, something. I'm sure it's not outside of the realm of possibility. That's probably happened to some of you guys out there. I definitely would love to hear if you guys have had any similar stories like this happen to me, and in the group that was just in, before I had to create a new one, start over from scratch. But also, actually, I forgot to mention one other suggestion. Even if you do not have a moderator system, you could do a system where, and I'll tell you what, Xavier, you really make a good point about this. You have a system where basically, kind of like the friend, like whoever's like on your friends list or whatever that's like in the group. Oh, and hello, Slagle there. Saw you texted me now there. So basically what I was going to say was that so say you're in someone else's group, right? And you are adding you're adding one of your friends. Now, let's say that I add somebody and they start acting up and, just getting rowdy towards somebody else in that group or whatever. How about you give people the chance to kick your own friends out? If the owner doesn't do it first or can't because, they're not on or whatever, because everybody's got a life. I mean, even I personally, even with working a flex schedule and everything at Amazon, I mean, I still got to go to work and everything pretty much just like the next person. So, that kind of brings me to my point. I mean, hell, something could even like happen, like say if I'm like even just like asleep or whatever, have a system in place to where you can have multiple people monitor a group chat, and it doesn't matter how big or small it is. I don't care if it's freaking 4 or 5 people or if it's 100 people in a group chat. Have a system in place to where this type of behavior can be shown to not be freaking tolerated. Let's freaking not normalize this toxic behavior and having people uncomfortable to a point where they feel like they have to leave a group, especially because you have no power to be able to delete or to be able to kick somebody, especially if there is a situation where that group owner's not around or they're not around very often. If we would have had a system in place, especially like Xavier's idea, then hell, he would have been able to just kick them, and then we would have been all fine and dandy, and just would have just gone along with our day. Would have been no problem. Something has to give. Something has to give. Something needs to change. so that our whole community can be a safer place. I think that's really what this is all about at the end of the day. What is it that can be done to provide a safe experience for everybody online? I mean, how, like, the internet's like supposed to be like a place where, you know, kind of like everybody comes together, you know? Like, I mean, shoot, you can like make like good friends and everything, and I mean, like, you never know what can happen. Like, shoot, I mean, I've met plenty of different people, you know, in person I've met online. You know, no, you know, one of my best friends, Emily, I just got to meet her, you know, for the first time after 11 and a half years on YouTube. And my very first friend that I had when I first started this channel. So, you know, like that's one of, you know, that's one of many examples out there that, you know, like of the point where, you know, of how the internet is supposed to bring people together. Like, you know, like, and you know, not this toxic crap of people just tearing each other apart, you know, like, or, you know, like, just like people just randomly like crap talking just for no reason, you know. Oh, excuse me. So really, just change needs to happen. I cannot say this enough. Change needs to happen, and I hope that something can get done about this. I mean, to be honest, like, if Sony can make changes to where they changed the whole messaging party system anyway and integrated that stuff because of the fact that there was an incident over some kid that was being told to kill himself and it actually happened, then for sure this can get done with a moderator system. And maybe even like kind of like a friend moderator system too, where, you know, like, so again, if a party owner or group owner's not around or whatever, and, you know, like, some stuff gets said in the messages, then, you know, whoever friend that is that added them in, that's in a way, like, you know, basically, like, they're responsible, like, for what their friend does, so that if that said friend, you know, acts up or whatever, give them the privileges to kick them out, because there are fair and honest people out there. Because I'll tell you right now, if you give privileges like that to people, and, you know, then all of a sudden it's like, that changes things. Because now, shoot, we can have a safer place for everybody. We can have a freaking safer place for everybody right there. Because if Xavier Runeblade, you know, if Xavier was able to have those privileges, he would have been able to kick out his friend from the group. Because he doesn't tolerate that kind of stuff either. Heck, I mean, he wound up actually blocking the dude's family, because he actually, like, now the Dixie guy he didn't know in person, but he knew like one of his brothers, and unfortunately it was like a problem where I guess like there's, you know, a lot of drink going on in their family. But anyway, you know, like, if we can just have a system, if we only can have a system in place where we get a moderator system, even if you can just start bare minimum as a co-owner, you get two people running the show in a group chat. That will change everything. I mean, start somewhere, even if it's just that. That alone could, you know, just make make this a better place for for everybody. It can make the PlayStation community a safer place, and you know, that way, like, it, you know, if any drama happens or whatever, stuff can get addressed, and you know, we can you know, like, move on our lives, and you know, just get along.